Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Powerful Perspectives. Today I'd like to kind of discuss a metaphor with you today, a metaphor that builds off of a metaphor that was shared by C.S. Lewis. Some of you might know it. It's a metaphor where we or our lives are compared to a house, and the house needs to undergo some renovations, and so the master architect comes and starts banging around the house and doing different renovations. And at first, the renovations that are being done are things that we knew needed to be done. We knew that certain pipes needed to be replaced, that certain flooring needed to be ripped up and replaced, or certain repairs needed to be done. And so some of those changes, they make sense to us, and we're not surprised by those. But then some additional changes start to happen. Walls start to get torn down, new wings get added on to the house, and just there's a lot of things that are torn down and replaced and switched around, and it hurts. And we start to get a little bit confused and wonder why all of these changes are happening, and maybe sometimes we complain, right, and say, well, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you changing this thing? Why are you changing this thing? And then the punchline kind of the metaphor from C.S. Lewis is that where we thought we were being made or kind of remodeled into a nice, quaint, cozy, cottage, the master architect was making us into a castle or like a mansion. And I really love that metaphor. But I'd like to add on some thoughts that kind of take that idea in a sense and kind of springboard off of it a little bit. I'd like to still imagine us or our lives as a house. But I'd like to talk about the room that we have inside of the house, the space that we have inside of the house. Oftentimes we ask for, or we want, or we desire a lot of new things into our lives. We want certain dreams or aspirations to come together. We want goals to be achieved. We want some of it is stuff, right? Like we want that new house or that new apartment, whether it's like upgrading or downsizing, whatever. We want that new car. We want that new like device, like electronic device, like be it like the new phone or whatever. Some of us are looking for a romantic relationship, or we want to add another child to our family, or we want a new job, we want a raise, we want a promotion, we want, there are all of these things in our lives, blessings, desires, goals that we want. And I think it's kind of common for us to ask the master architect, or again here, this could be God, this could be asking the universe, whatever higher power you subscribe to, even just something as simple as manifesting, or like whatever, right? Like you ask the universe, you ask your life, you ask whatever power you think brings stuff to you, or has the ability to bless you with what you want in your life. We ask those things to make more room. I think we look at our house and we say, okay, like I don't have enough room. I don't have enough space in my house for the additional things that I want. So I want you to add on an addition to my house. I want you to like add a garage somewhere, like whether attached to the house or separately or whatever, or like I want you to knock out this wall and like lengthen this room. Like we kind of ask our circumstances, our surroundings, our God, our higher power to give us more room and more space so that we can receive more stuff. right? And it doesn't always have to be physical stuff. It could be non-physical things as well, right? But those dreams, those aspirations, those desires that we have, we want more room to be created for them. And what I've noticed a lot in my own life, and in the lives of many of those that I interact with, both those that I work with as a as a therapeutic counselor, but also just as those that I rub shoulders with on a daily basis. The response doesn't often come as, okay, I'll just add on that addition, or I'll just add that new garage or that new storage space. The response that I tend to get is, if you want these new things, make your own space. Like, create space with the room that I've given you. Many of us tend to be hoarders. And again, I'm not just saying like literal technical hoarders in terms of like those who just, collect things in their physical houses. But I'm talking again here metaphorically, like in our lives. We tend to have things that we hold on to. And those things, that can be our house. It can be our current job. It can be certain relationships that aren't working for us or that are toxic for us. It can be belief systems, right? Like, it can be our pride or our stubbornness. It can be our ego. It can be our impatience. It can be our insistence on being right. All sorts of things, right? The list could go on and on and on, but we all have things that we kind of stubbornly hold on to, that we kind of hoard and collect, and we're not willing, in many cases, to give that up. And I think the message that the universe, that higher power, our God, whatever you want to call it, the message that is trying to be conveyed to us is, look, you have enough space right now. If you will get rid of the clutter, if you want more stuff, and not just more stuff, but if you want better stuff, sometimes the price of better things comes at comes as the giving up of those lesser things that you have right now. I heard a beautiful definition of the word sacrifice once, and I'm forgetting exactly who it was who said it. But they defined sacrifice as giving up something good for something better. And I really love that. That really resonated with me. And I think it applies here, right? Maybe there's a lot of good things that we have collected in our house, right? Cluttering our spaces. Maybe some of those things aren't good, or it can't even be called good, right? But regardless, I think we tend to have a pretty difficult time giving a lot of those things up. And I think that's part of the test. Part of the question is, will you give up what you have in order to make space, make room for what you want? There's another beautiful picture. And actually, maybe, yeah, I'm doing this on YouTube. I can add it here. I'm gonna add a little picture that that demonstrates this really well. So I'll show that right here. Okay, I really love this picture, or this, I guess you could call it like a meme in some ways too, but it's just a beautiful message, right? And yes, it's based in Christianity, but you can take the message, or you can take the the idea and apply it more broadly as well, right? The idea is we're clinging on to what we are used to and what we've grown to love and what has become comfortable to us and familiar to us, right? But to make space for that bigger blessing, sometimes we need to give up what we're holding on to. And I think that applies here. And the beautiful thing that happens, I think, if we're willing to engage in this process willingly and authentically, sincerely, if we really commit to it and we do it consistently for an extended period of time, then we kind of foster this pattern or this characteristic, this trait of making room for the better things, right? And then I think there will come a time, and for those who do this long enough, perhaps there has already come a time when the house really is too small. And it isn't big enough to receive the additional blessings that God, our higher power, our life, the universe, whatever, wants to bless us with. But by that point, it's not us asking for the addition to be built so that we can have more space for more stuff. It's that master architect who comes in and builds the addition of his own accord, right? Our life, the universe, God adds on that addition himself or itself because it or he has more to give us. And so it's a desire to bless us with even more than we're currently able to carry, regardless of how much room we try to create, right? And this is really a beautiful, beautiful process and beautiful moment where we get to a point where we get to grow. We get to become more. We get things added on to us, right? Like we get to become bigger people, greater people. And we get to take up more space in this world by virtue of how we've changed and who we've become through the process. So I leave that with you as a thought experiment and as a challenge to look at your life and maybe ask yourself, okay, what are the things that I want right now? And what are some of those things that I'm kind of holding on to stubbornly, that I'm not willing to give up, that might just be in that space, that might be taking up room, that could be used for something else. Maybe I'll just use like a small, potentially silly example, right? But you can take it metaphorically however you want. But maybe there is an old, broken, out of tune piano that's missing a ton of keys. The bench is broken, so you have to like play it like with a different chair or like stool or whatever, like, or standing up. And it just doesn't sing the way that it used to, right? And it's kind of beyond repair. But maybe that old broken down piano has sentimental value for you, but you would like to get a new couch, like a new like L-shaped couch with like nice ottoman, like nice and comfy, so that you can have more people over and you can entertain more often and you can have that space as a communal space for people to gather and enjoy time together, right? Well, maybe that piano is taking up the space of where that couch could go. And until you get rid of that piano, and again, this is saying a lot for me. I'm a musician. I absolutely love music. I play the piano. I love the piano. I have nothing against the piano. But again, the metaphor stands, right? Maybe that thing that you're holding on to is in the exact spot where that new desired blessing or could go. And all it takes is deciding to free up that space. So I invite and challenge you to look at your life and consider what are some things that you could maybe give up or even gift away, be it physical material things or be it just mental or emotional things. What are some things that you can surrender and give up to clear up some space for those blessings and desires that you want? And yeah, I think if you will do so, you'll be surprised at just what becomes possible, and what you're able to have space for, what you're able to then bring into your house. And yeah, I'll be super excited to see that moment when eventually that addition is added on, but for a different reason. Anyway, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear your comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.